You won't believe what happened as Season 8 kicks off. Amy dropped a bomb on everyone by getting engaged to Brian. And Tammy isn't holding back either, stepping into her independence like a woman who's done waiting for anyone to approve her life. The moment these two appeared in the same room, the tension was so thick you could almost cut it with a knife. Old grudges that seemed buried for months, maybe years, started bubbling up instantly. Amy's new relationship and Tammy's fresh freedom collided like two storms on a collision course. Could these sisters survive another season together without tearing each other apart? Everything feels fragile. Like one careless word could ignite a fight bigger than anything we've seen before. Tammy's confidence radiates, and Amy's trying to balance excitement with skepticism, but the cracks are showing. Every glance, every tiny comment seems loaded, and you can tell the air is charged with years of unresolved resentment. Nothing about this reunion feels calm. And you get the sense that this season isn't just about weight loss or life changes. It's about who really controls the family narrative. Even a simple hello between them feels like walking a tightrope. And you can sense the moment it all tips over is closer than anyone thinks. Last season left everyone reeling. Amy went through a messy divorce from Michael, trying to pick up the pieces while juggling life as a mom. And somehow, almost overnight, she seemed ready to leap into something new with Brian. Tammy, on the other hand, had been on a completely different path. After years of struggling with her health and her weight, she finally got serious about taking control of her life. The weight loss surgery wasn't just a milestone, it was a total reset. She came back lighter, more mobile, and ready to live on her own terms, and you could see it in the way she carried herself. Season 7 had its fair share of drama. Amy's quick moves in love left her siblings questioning her judgment, and Tammy's newfound independence rubbed some people the wrong way. Family dinners were tense, casual comments sparked arguments, and the kind of petty fights that seemed small at first often escalated into full-blown shouting matches. Watching the Sillaytons navigate their complicated emotions was exhausting, but impossible to look away from. You could laugh at the ridiculousness, shake your head at the timing, and yet feel invested because these aren't just strangers on a screen. They're a family trying to figure out how to survive changes that affect every single one of them. Now, as Season 8 begins, the stakes are higher. Amy is moving fast, planning a future with Brian, and her excitement is almost blinding. Tammy is thriving, exploring her independence, dating Andrea, and refusing to let old dynamics dictate how she lives her life. The first moments of this season are like dropping two live wires into the same room. The tension isn't subtle, even casual conversations are loaded with meaning. Every look, every sigh, every sideways comment carries the weight of past grudges. You can already feel the potential for sparks to fly, and it's clear the sisters are walking into this season knowing that nothing will be easy. There's a sense that this isn't just about personal growth anymore. It's about establishing power, control, and respect within the family. Amy wants to move on, but old habits die hard, and Tammy is refusing to be the sister she once was. You can almost hear the audience collectively holding their breath, waiting for the first crack to appear. Will Amy be able to accept Tammy's independence? Or will her own insecurities push them both to the edge? And Tammy, she's confident, she's assertive, and she's not backing down, which makes you wonder how long it will take before something blows up. The humor in their interactions hasn't disappeared either. Tammy's sass and Amy's occasional overreactions still make you chuckle even when the tension is thick. You know that familiar blend of exasperation and admiration? The way you watch and think, oh no, they're going there again. Yet can't look away. That's what keeps viewers hooked. Because these are real emotions, real conflicts, and real growth happening on screen. And here's where it gets wild. Things nobody saw coming are about to explode between the sisters. Amy and Tammy's tension flares almost instantly in this season. The moment Amy walks into the room with Brian, you can see Tammy stiffen, her smile tight and guarded. Amy's excitement about her engagement seems to hit Tammy the wrong way. not because she isn't happy for her sister, but because it's another reminder of how quickly Amy moves through life, leaving the past behind while old issues linger unresolved. Their eyes meet, and you can practically feel the unspoken questions. Who's changing too fast? Who's holding on too tight? And who's finally getting a taste of freedom? It's the kind of energy that makes even the smallest conversation feel like walking on a tightrope. Amy has always struggled with boundaries, especially when it comes to Tammy's independence. She grew up taking care of her sister in ways that created an invisible chain of control. Tammy breaking free, asserting herself, dating Andrea, moving around on her own. It all triggers a mix of admiration, fear, and resentment in Amy. She wants Tammy to succeed, but she also wants the sister she's known, the one who relied on her, to still be in her corner. It's a classic push and pull that fuels every argument. You can see it in the way Amy interrupts Tammy mid-sentence, tries to redirect the topic, or questions small decisions, as if to remind Tammy she's still watching and weighing her sister's choices. Tammy isn't holding back either. Every comment, every sideways glance from Amy feels like a challenge, and she's ready to meet it head-on. Her responses are sharp, confident, and unapologetic. It's not just sass, it's a statement that she's not the sister who needed constant oversight anymore. Tammy's body language, her tone, her willingness to stand her ground, all scream independence. Watching it unfold, it's easy to see why viewers get drawn into their conflict. You're not just seeing a fight, you're seeing two people testing the boundaries of a lifelong bond, both unwilling to compromise, yet deeply connected underneath. Even small disagreements escalate quickly. Amy questions Tammy's parenting choices during a casual conversation, and Tammy snaps back, reminding Amy of her own missteps. Brian and Andrea hover on the sidelines, sometimes adding fuel unintentionally. Brian tries to defend Amy, Andrea defends Tammy, and suddenly it's not just sister versus sister, it's an entire family dynamic colliding in real time. You can see Amy's frustration mount as Tammy refuses to cave, and Tammy's validation grows with every point she stands firm on. Each side has receipts. Each side feels justified, and every interaction pushes the tension higher. The psychological undercurrent is fascinating. Amy's reactions aren't just about jealousy, they're about control, fear of change, and insecurity. Tammy's calm assertiveness comes from a place of earned confidence. She's fought for her independence, made life-altering choices, and proven she can stand on her own. For Amy, it's a mirror she doesn't fully want to look into. For Tammy, it's affirmation that the fight to be herself wasn't in vain. You can feel the emotional electricity in every scene, and it keeps escalating, making each argument feel heavier than the last. Family reactions complicate things further. Siblings weigh in, sometimes unintentionally taking sides. Chris and Misty comment on interactions, trying to mediate, but often fueling the fire by pointing out inconsistencies or siding with one sister over the other. Amanda observes quietly, but has moments where she teases both, subtly highlighting each sister's flaws without fully taking sides. The room is always alive with emotional tension, each comment layered with meaning, and each reaction measured against years of history. The behavior patterns are clear. Amy interrupts, questions, and tries to steer. But she's met with a wall of confidence from Tammy that refuses to be swayed. Tammy asserts, challenges, and corrects, yet she's careful not to cross lines that would make the argument personal. It's a delicate dance of confrontation and restraint, one that keeps viewers invested because every line could trigger an unexpected escalation. And just when you think Tammy is backing down, wait till you see what she says next. Amy's whirlwind with Brian is impossible to ignore. Engagements usually take months, maybe even years, but Amy and Brian fast-tracked everything, and the family, and the viewers, are still trying to catch up. Brian's presence in the house brings its own complications. Between his age difference, the stories about past mishaps, and the infamous Safari Park incident, There's a lot to unpack. Even casual family dinners feel charged. Every word Amy says about Brian seems to carry a defensive edge, as if she knows the scrutiny is coming but refuses to let it slow her down. Brian's calmness and sometimes oblivious charm clash with Amy's high energy, creating moments that are both frustrating and oddly entertaining. Tammy, meanwhile, is living her best life with Andrea, and it shows. She's light on her feet, confident, and willing to stand in her truth. Andrea brings a new energy to Tammy's world, someone who encourages her independence and supports her choices, but the timing couldn't be more dramatic. Amy's excitement over Brian and Tammy's thriving relationship collide, and small comments turn into major tension. Amy doesn't just feel left out, she feels like the family's dynamic is shifting under her feet. Would you react the same if your sister suddenly seemed unstoppable, thriving in ways you've always wanted for yourself? That push-pull between pride, jealousy, and genuine happiness fuels nearly every interaction between these two women. Fans online have noticed every nuance. Social media exploded after the trailer dropped, with memes poking fun at Amy's dramatic reactions and Tammy's confident comebacks. One post joked that Amy might need a handbook on how to deal with a sister who refuses to be controlled. Another pointed out how Tammy's small gestures, like choosing to introduce Andrea at family gatherings, set off fireworks that everyone could see coming. The comment sections are full of speculation, some rooting for Tammy, some for Amy, and everyone debating whether Brian's role is stabilizing or destabilizing the family. These discussions make the tension feel even more immediate for viewers, creating a sense that you're part of the story, not just watching it unfold. Even minor moments are amplified. Amy reacts sharply when Tammy casually mentions Andrea's accomplishments, interpreting it as a subtle jab. Tammy's eye rolls and sarcastic quips aren't just funny, they're signals of frustration that Amy doesn't always know how to respond to. Meanwhile, Brian steps in, trying to defend Amy or redirect conversations, which sometimes backfires, making the interactions even more combustible. Andrea, standing firmly beside Tammy, refuses to be sidelined, and that energy fuels the fire. Every relationship has its boundaries tested, and every subtle comment is scrutinized under a microscope. The psychological tension is layered. Amy's rapid relationship choices are part excitement and part defense mechanism, an attempt to regain control in a life that's been unpredictable. Tammy's confidence comes from a place of security and self-acceptance. That makes Amy feel destabilized. She's watching her sister thrive in a way that challenges her own narrative of who she thinks the family should be. Viewers can see it clearly. Both sisters are right in their own ways, but the collision course is unavoidable. Family gatherings escalate quickly. A casual dinner turns into a tense discussion when Amy shares a story about Brian, and Tammy counters with a story about Andrea. The siblings hover, some trying to mediate, others quietly fueling the drama with knowing looks or sarcastic commentary. Amanda's playful teasing and Chris's attempts to keep the peace add additional layers. The mix of protective instincts, personal biases, and unresolved sibling history makes every interaction unpredictable. But the biggest shock isn't between Amy and Tammy, it's who gets pulled into the fight next. Chris, Amanda, and Misty are back, and they're right in the middle of everything. Chris tries to stay neutral, but his protective instincts for both sisters make him a lightning rod. Every comment he makes, every small side taken, or even the appearance of taking a side, fuels tension in subtle ways. Amanda, with her sharp wit and quick observations, often calls out both Amy and Tammy without apology, and you can see how her humor masks concern. Misty floats between observation and participation, adding another layer to the family dynamic. Together, the siblings create a pressure cooker. Their interactions aren't just background noise, they amplify the stakes because their presence reminds both Amy and Tammy that their actions ripple through the entire family. The show hasn't always captured the full scope of these interactions. While weight loss journeys and dramatic confrontations dominate the episodes, there are countless moments of social bonding, vacations, and personal growth that have barely made it to the screen. Fans have repeatedly pointed out that trips, like their Florida and England vacations, brought out hilarious and emotional sides of the family that could have been gold for storytelling. Social events, friendships outside the home, and even casual moments of sibling banter are often minimized in favor of conflict. These omissions leave viewers missing part of the picture, and sometimes the tension feels manufactured rather than naturally earned. Production choices also shape how we perceive the sisters. Tammy, for instance, has received a positive edit that emphasizes her confidence and independence. While it's great to celebrate her growth, it sometimes downplays the fiery, headstrong personality that made her so captivating in earlier seasons. Amy, meanwhile, is often shown through a lens that emphasizes drama and impulsivity, which can make her appear more volatile than she might feel in private moments. This imbalance subtly shifts the narrative, heightening the tension but occasionally sacrificing nuance. You get the sense that the show is carefully curating moments to maximize engagement, which isn't necessarily wrong, but it does shape how viewers interpret every interaction. There are also missed opportunities with secondary characters. Amanda's love life, for example, has been teased but never explored in depth, leaving fans curious and sometimes frustrated. Misty and Chris have had moments that could add context or humor, yet these scenes often get sidelined to make room for the central sisterly drama. Even Amy and Brian's relationship could be examined with more depth, how their interactions function outside of arguments, how they navigate family scrutiny. But the episodes largely focus on conflict rather than connection. Yet, despite these gaps, the production does succeed in keeping viewers hooked. Every subtle glance, interrupted conversation, and loaded comment is framed in a way that amplifies suspense. You can feel the editors are strategically cutting scenes to escalate tension, which works for engagement but sometimes leaves the story feeling incomplete. Fans are left wondering what's real, what's emphasized for TV, and what moments might have been softened or cut entirely. And you won't believe which family secret threatens to blow everything open. The emotional intensity ramps up fast. One dinner conversation turns into a full-blown argument that feels years in the making. Amy, frustrated and a little insecure, lashes out over what she perceives as Tammy's subtle jabs. Tammy, unwilling to shrink, fires back with precision, pointing out patterns she's observed over the years. Their voices rise. But it's more than just volume. There's history baked into every word, every gesture, and every glance. You can see Amy struggling with guilt, envy, and defensiveness all at once, while Tammy channels a mix of validation and frustration. Watching them, you realize these fights aren't random. They're eruptions of emotions that have been simmering for decades. Behavior patterns emerge clearly in these confrontations. Amy tends to avoid the hardest truths until they're unavoidable, then reacts impulsively, often blaming external circumstances or the timing of Tammy's choices. Tammy, in contrast, is more deliberate. She calls things out when she sees them, unapologetically, but also carries an undercurrent of hope that Amy will recognize her independence as a positive thing rather than a threat. Guilt and envy collide with pride and validation, creating a volatile mix that keeps the audience glued. These moments aren't just about disagreement. They're about identity, family roles, and the struggle for respect and understanding within a bond that's supposed to last a lifetime. Even small triggers set off cascading reactions. A comment about parenting, a joke about relationships, or even a sideways glance from a sibling can escalate into a heated debate. The camera captures tearful reactions, tense silences, and moments of stunned realization. Amy sometimes realizes mid-argument that her behavior mirrors the same patterns Tammy is calling out, and Tammy occasionally softens just enough to show she still wants reconciliation, not domination. These subtle emotional beats give viewers a chance to reflect and relate. Who hasn't had moments where frustration and love collide, making it hard to communicate clearly with the people closest to them? Witty moments punctuate the tension. Tammy's sarcastic quips, Amy's dramatic sighs, and the family's quiet reactions provide relief while emphasizing the absurdity and reality of the situation. It's hard not to laugh at the timing of some responses while simultaneously feeling the weight of the underlying issues. These emotional peaks matter because they show growth and vulnerability. Amy and Tammy aren't just fighting. They're working through identity shifts, changes in family power dynamics, and the reality that their lives are moving in different directions. The episode also plants seeds for future payoffs. You can see patterns forming that will carry into later episodes. Arguments over autonomy, reactions to romantic choices, and how the extended family responds under pressure. These moments hint at even bigger confrontations yet to come, keeping viewers invested and anticipating what's next. Each scene layers on complexity, making it clear that the season isn't about a single fight. It's about the cumulative effect of years of sibling rivalry, growth, and the challenge of embracing change while maintaining connection. And just when you think the sisters are done fighting, something completely unexpected happens. By the end of the episode, it's clear that Amy and Tammy's relationship is far from fixed. The fights, the side glances, the carefully measured words, all show that sibling rivalry is alive and kicking. But beneath the tension, there's growth. Tammy's independence isn't just about weight loss or a new relationship, it's about claiming space and asserting herself. Amy's rapid moves in love and attempts to regain control show her desire to find stability while navigating a family dynamic that feels unpredictable. Both sisters are evolving, but evolution comes with friction, and friction is exactly what makes this season so compelling. The extended family's reactions continue to add layers. Chris's careful mediation, Amanda's sharp commentary, and Misty's quiet observations highlight that the Sillaytons are connected, even when conflict threatens to pull them apart. These moments remind viewers that change affects everyone, not just the sisters. Relationships shift, roles are renegotiated, and long-held assumptions about control and loyalty are being challenged. Watching these interactions gives insight into how transformation, whether personal, romantic, or emotional, reconfigures a family's foundation. Romantic relationships also play a huge role in the episode's emotional arc. Amy and Brian's fast engagement, contrasted with Tammy and Andrea's growing bond, creates both external and internal pressures. Amy struggles with jealousy and expectations, while Tammy gains confidence and validation. The push and pull between pride, envy, and genuine happiness creates moments of relatability that viewers can't ignore. It's drama with heart. Showing that personal growth doesn't happen in isolation, it ripples through every relationship in the family. As the episode closes, tension lingers. Arguments end, but unresolved issues hang in the air like smoke, thick, heavy, and ready to ignite at any moment. Each sister has proven she can stand her ground, and yet, the underlying questions remain. Can they truly respect each other's choices? Or will old habits and insecurities pull them back into the same patterns? The next episode promises answers, but it also promises new twists, as even the smallest comment could trigger an explosive confrontation. Next episode is already setting the stage for a showdown nobody will forget.